So I was on Jack's for Valentine's Day, and
Aw.
Snaps when he came up there, he
I bet
really
that topic was love.
Yeah, it was. He really had this. He did this video, or he has this video of where they did a Queen song remix, but talking to trolls. It was actually good, but it was kind of like 5 or 6 minutes long. It was a long video, but twice while the video was being played, Jack got porn bombed. And then Snaps was like, Jack, do you have the name of the person that did that? I'm gonna go check it out for you and find out. And then he like came back like 5 minutes later. It's like, here's the person that porn bombed you. That just kind of looks suspicious. Like it seemed like he did it and then act like he saved the day. Is that something that you think Snaps would do, or what it isn't clever enough to do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know Snafu well enough to know if he's as fucking stupid as he acts. If he's as stupid as he acts, then sure, that's in his caliber of cleverness, which is not clever at all. If he's smarter than he acts, I don't know. I've said it before. There's something that doesn't make sense. If you spend if you act like your job is to be on YouTube, probably is.
It is.
And if I had, there's probably 3 MCs in the chat right now, and all of them probably have 3 things in common. They watch me, they like bikes, they hate Snaps. I would be concerned personally, but he doesn't. So I don't know. There's some things that don't make sense to me.
I was just wondering.
But
I got 2 screens.
Yeah, he be fucking up Jack's streams sometimes. Yeah,
he does like to go after Jack. People like to go after Jack. He's a safer target, I think, than a lot of people.
The energy would be so good over there, and he'd come over there and just all over that shit. I'm like, what in the fuck? I'm serious. It'd be so good. And he does. He'll come over there and just shit on it.
There was
Barbie, I think you have a glitch. Sorry, go ahead, Barbie. I think you got a little delay or something.
I do. Are you talking about Talcott clips?
Yeah, there was a amusing parody on Paul Enslaved for Talcott today. It was pretty funny. You should watch it.
Clips is.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Hold on.
Clips is good.
Mm-hmm. He was like dropping propaganda over Gaza or something like that about love or something.
Oh, the love bombs.
Yeah, the love bombs.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
And then his plane got shot down. That was some high production.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard. Yeah.
Oh, TCC's good.
I laughed so hard. I love Jack. Don't get me wrong, but damn it, man, that was so like like he said, it is. You just got to look at it. You see what I'm talking about.
Jack was in the comments laughing about it.
Hey, I knew Jack would be laughing about it. I was sitting there laughing, like, "Oh my god, Emma, that's terrible. Look at how that's savage." And I'm thinking, Jack would be laughing too. Jack would be laughing too. Though it's like he said something, and it rubbed somebody the wrong way, and they put every little effort they have into like trolling him. It's kind of awesome when we get stuff like that.
I think Paul's got a crush on Jack. I think that's what's going on here. But I love how much production value put into it. I mean, he had like Hollywood working on it.
Dude, I was like, somebody's working on this shit for a week or so, bro.
Where's Talcott Clips Collection?
For how long this thing was? Oh my god.
Collection. I know that you're probably down there. Give me a thumbs up or something in the comments if I have permission to use this. If not, fair use and stuff. He's never fucked with me before, but I can't remember if I've ever played any of his shit.
Who?
It's
Talcott Clips Collection.
It's beautiful.
Oh no, I'm sure he'll be cool with you.
By the way, I'm restreaming to my channel. So I'm pretty cool with that.
Me too.
Yeah. That's it's up there for people to do whatever you want. If I don't want somebody streaming, you'll know because I'll remove the stream. But you guys are all Gucci.
Cool.
Let's see.
That
Whoops. I'm sharing the wrong screen.
Other than that, we had a fun verbal combat the other night with Emperor Dave
Or
and
speaky.
crew
Uh,
at Speakeasies.
Imp Dave goes hard in the paint, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets the pot stirred, and then he left me there to carry the load. So I was defending libertarian like my life depended on it. So some dude showed up and he hates
A wanted
libertarians.
poster for
So.
Barbie. 120 pounds of pure fury. Warrant for her arrest. Responsible for the death of one. Snafu snaps. Death via body slam. Blown hair. 5'6". Big balls. Oops.
It's awesome.
hey,
I'm just saying, like, I just can't. He just
From
rubs me the
ABC
wrong way.
World headquarters in New
Yeah.
Cynthia,
yes. What?
did you hey us?
Shit.
I thought
Why
you
did
said
I
hey.
hate y'all? I did, but I forgot. Oh, I know. I'll tell you later.
this.
Did you and Machine ever
All right, do
kiss
you wanna
and
do it
make
now?
up, or what's going on?
No. Oh, I was just gonna say I low key missed the flyover. Can we just get a flyover just because it's been away for a while? But after this,
Well, you know the flyover rules. I'm sorry, I can't violate those.
okay,
Flyover
okay.
protocol
Y'all know the
Is World
rules.
News Tonight with Lindsay
But
Davis.
that's a good idea.
We are now live from the ABC News studio speaking with Jack Talcott, an anti-war activist from Spokane, Washington. Jack Talcott, thank you so much for joining us. According to various organizations from Human Rights Watch to the UN, the violence in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank
High
has
quality.
claimed countless Palestinian lives over the last couple of years. For people who are unclear from afar exactly what the unrest is about, is it clearly boiled down to a land dispute, or is it far more complicated than that?
Possibly. I really think what's happening today with the genocide that's happening in Israel and the profiteering from wars and conflicts that the industrial complex continues to do. Brothers and sisters, there is a sickness throughout the world. It's called selfishness and fear.
Can you see any path forward to peace or diplomacy?
For my hopes, my purpose, I'm really trying to find a way to bring peace to what I'm doing here, because this is a step for me to go other places, like maybe in boardrooms and stuff, and say, hey, look, see, there's peace out here. You can see I'm doing peace. And then, eventually get into other boardrooms. While there are others doing these atrocious things, there are also some amazing human beings doing some incredible things towards the light, towards solving problems, helping establish drinking water, wells in these underdeveloped areas, underdeveloped parts of the world. There's other men and women who are helping to educate the children, the men and women who are stuck, economically or politically stuck between these lands, these refugees. Dude, can you imagine? I mean, I know how this sounds, but if God could allow me to find a way to help try and negotiate peace, or at least encourage those people in positions to do so, to help encourage them to use diplomacy to bring peace to the world, dude, that'd be something to tell the grandkids about, right?
Jack Talcott, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You
Guess
got
we
a
muted.
10-piece
You're muted.
membership.
Oh, snap.
Just because I really miss football.
That's So
Thank
freaking
you, Cynthia, for the 10
You're
membership.
welcome.
And I'm the reason I was a couple minutes late is because I was working on a new super chat thing because I just don't have one that's as good.
I did a couple of myself while you were away.
Did you?
I've decided to lean in being indoctrinated. Just lean into it.
Into what?
Being indoctrinated.
But into what? What are you indoctrinated?
What the fuck?
I've got judges and everything.
Everything.
I got judges and stuff coming in. Like all my things are going to be different judges coming in and giving rulings and controlling the courtroom.
Right on. I just remembered. I was just actually talking to someone earlier today. Some of you may know that Judge Joe Brown.
What the fuck is this?
That
Yes.
I've got an open line to him. I need to have him on the show sometime.
Why do
And
you have an open line to Judge Joe Brown?
Here, I'll drop a link. I went on a panel with him almost a year ago.
I'm
Barbie,
a
you
Judge
can't
Judy fan
be mumbling at
myself.
the whole channel while you're figuring out things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hold on.
I-Fi. No. TMNL and I have not made up, and I'm going to leave it there for a while. I'm going to give it time.
Oh, I even surrogated it for
There's
him.
new beefs.
Work.
No, it's still the same one. I'm sure it'll come around.
It was the Lindsay
I don't
incident.
TML.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I forgot about that. I forgot about it.
Speaking
See,
of
it's all
Lindsay-
just for a circle. Here's what I know. I know Tommy hates everybody.
Yes.
I know Paul and I beef. I know.
Mhm.
I
Is
know
there
that,
anyone Paul doesn't beef with?
Jennifer.
It's bootlickers.
Oh.
Even Jennifer,
Oh.
from what I've heard, it sounds like they probably beef. Doesn't she sleep on the couch with a gun?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. My bad.
That sounds like a beef to me. I've been in some bad relationships. Neither of us ever slept on the couch with a gun.
Yeah, I don't think I'd rock like that either. Would you rock in separate rooms?
Oh, that's
I
right.
beef
I was
with
like, we're not
this
allowed to have
dude.
guns.
Sasquatch. How's it going, brother?
But
Salute.
Flo, I'm very upset with you. I had an entire plan set up for us. I'm always over here slaving over this hot grill for your children, and you haven't even called. You haven't texted. You haven't written. You're over there puking up your guts, and you haven't even let me know.
But
So-
I'm glad to know that you guys were sitting around talking about me like you should be. That's the proper.
Oh,
Actually,
everybody asked me where you were. Everybody was
where you
asking.
were.
Everybody
That's what
asked
we
everybody
do.
else.
Everybody asks everybody. Have you seen Flo? Have you seen Flo? I don't know.
I didn't ask anybody.
Pretty sure
People say-
aliens probably abducted him.
You didn't even ask
Not
me.
you.
Not you either.
I don't like intruding.
I didn't
I
ask
think-
'cause
I think I
know he
did.
takes sabbaticals.
I think, yeah. Sasquatch didn't. I did have when I finally when you get back to your phone, it's like opening the vaults of wherever the Pope lives, the Vatican. I
Yeah.
did have messages from Sasquatch, but none of them were like, "Hey, bro, where are you?"
Well, no. Why would I ask where you were?
That's not
You
his
would tell
approach.
me if you wanted me to freaking know, right? That's your business, dude. You want to move to the fucking North Pole and fuck off for the rest of your life? I'm not going to bother you.
I will,
Yeah.
Flo. I'm gonna come hang out with
I
you.
appreciate you guys.
Someone
It's
said
too
you went to
cold.
jail. I think
Well,
prison. And I
No.
was like, what?
I will tell you this much, though. I was concerned because we were having a conversation and you just vanished.
Yes.
I
Well,
was-
I didn't
And
go
then
to
we were
jail.
having a
If I
conversation
do
and you
go
showed
to
back up.
jail, if I go to jail, you're gonna have a Miss Flo live stream, and she's gonna be up here drumming up motherfucking bond money.
I know she is.
See, that's what I was waiting on. See, like I'm good at that shit.
Yeah,
I was just
and
sitting
you're gonna
there,
be helping her.
and when it popped up tonight, I looked at the thumbnail and I went, "Nah, that's not the one."
He was like, oh shit. I'm like, what?
I don't expect that to be the case. of course, I didn't back then either. I didn't think that I'd make it till 30. Make it to 30, live in the most normal, down to earth time of your life, and then that's when they're like, "Oh, you know what? But fuck you."
I had a conversation with my sheriff earlier today.
That
He's been
is something
over
that you only hear from the sort of people you want to be friends with. That's why we're homies. Go ahead.
Well, you're right. You are absolutely correct. He's been over here beating on my door every day for a week. and missed me. My brother called me as, "Man, the sheriff's looking for you." I said, "That's why he ain't found me." He goes, no, dude. He just wants to put an election sign in your yard. I said, "Well, that's fine. You don't need to talk to me for that. He just needs to talk to somebody who knows me for that." That's acceptable.
And so
You
you've
start-
got a sheriff's
Nice.
election sign.
Yeah.
You know what? I never did have the sheriff's election sign. I had the county prosecutor
wrong
that
with you?
lost. I had the prosecutor that lost.
That's not good.
Is this the story that ends with you shot the sheriff, but you
Nope.
did not shoot the deputy?
No, he didn't bring a deputy. He brought his PR manager.
They brought about 5
immediately got
counties
you-
of deputies to my house.
He immediately got interested when I mentioned YouTube. Like, me and the sheriff's talking, and I'm like, well, he's like, "Oh, I appreciate any help you can give me." I said,
Oh,
"Are
I
you
don't-
sure about that?" I have a really wacky sense of humor, and it will help, but you might not think so. People will see it. They might not be here.
Yeah, I had the losing county prosecutor, but in my house, I've told this before. I had it framed above the toilet in the main bathroom. There was a thank you certificate for donating $500 to the police department's anti-drug school campaign, where they'd go and distribute bullshit to schools. And the bag that they didn't find was tucked in the frame.
That's beautiful, babe.
Was that
Which
the
you
day-
think that's the first place I'd look. If I saw that frame there, I'd be like, this is out of place.
If there happen to be cops in the chat, remember, check the hot water heater. Always look for the hot water heater. Check in there for the dopes, because I have hidden so many near misses on the hot water heater. Like,
Oh, that wouldn't really apply
I
here.
mean-
I don't think they even know. I don't think he even knows what a hot water heater is.
You're thinking about becoming a DARE officer, weren't you, Flo?
Hell no. Dare is what Dare's look, I have this whole theory that Dare, you've got like pop culture and you've got this stiff
Listen.
school thing, right? You've got
Got it.
both sides of the bird, and it works to make drugs appeal to kids so that they can have product to supply to the prison industry. Because Dare didn't fucking make anybody not want to do drugs.
DARE
I-
introduced me to
that's
drugs. I
fine
didn't
drugs
even know
from
about
DARE.
drugs until DARE told me about them. I was
I
like,
mean, I knew
"There's
about
drugs?
them.
Cool."
And what's the purpose of propaganda? It's not to teach you anything.
I'm just glad the war on drugs finally ended the problem. Now we don't have to worry about drugs anymore.
I'm glad the war is
Drugs
over.
won.
Yeah, okay.
And then the war on terrorism got rid of all the terrorists. See, like
Drugs are
everything
bad,
involved in
okay? Totally.
I'm pulling
Well,
up.
Em,
Give me a
certain
second.
drugs
Find
are bad for certain people.
Next,
'Cause
we
when
should do a
drugs-
war on the government.
What's really bad for everybody is getting caught with drugs. You can get sober, but you can't get out of a 20 piece unless you served about half of it.
It's true. Once you're on that list, you're on the list, bud. That's the way that is.
Why are you pointing the knife at
What are
me?
you talking about?
'Cause he
Sorry,
hates-
I'm looking for something else. I'm looking for something that I want to share here.
I
I
did
know
something
that-
horrible today, Flo, and I need to confess.
Okay.
Forgive me, Flow State, for I've sinned.
Don't
I,
tell
uh,
us where you hit the body.
I watched the Marvels today.
Washed the marbles.
The Marvels, the
No,
horrible
Marvels.
the Disney
Okay.
production that's horrible, it's bad.
Oh, I haven't even heard of it.
Dude,
I haven't
I'm
watched
supposed
that shit, bro.
I'm supposed to talk about it tomorrow with Captain Curmudgeon on his show, and he gave me a list of movies. Was like, here, watch these. I've already watched all but that one, and I was like, dude, I hate you.
Did
And I
you
watched
lose
the
a
first
bet
part.
or something? Like, how did this happen?
I screwed up. I convinced him to watch the Barbie movie because I think it's a false flag movie. I think it was done
What do
by
you
some
mean?
conservative folks to make woke people look stupid, and it did. It works beautifully. And I think he went back to the same watering hole to find if there were some other movies like that, and he chose the Marvel. And I was like, dear God, please no. I even sent him the meme of the office guy screaming, God, no, dear God, no. And he's like, no, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. And I said, fine, but we have to talk about this Russian film called Soldier Boy. If we're going to talk about the Marvels, I want to talk about something good. And I got me a pint
Worst
of
rapper ever.
I think the Barbie Oppenheimer
Boy.
doubleheader was the best pairing of all time.
I still haven't seen Oppenheimer.
I went
was
to a ladies'
I watched
party.
more movies last year. Good.
I went to a ladies' party, and I want you to know the ladies talked exactly about those same two movies, and they had a completely different view on Barbie, and they thought that Barbie was oversaturated and made to look dumb, and they said that guys won't get it because they never played with Barbies.
Well, what they missed, my dear,
I
was
think a
the
lot of
fact that it
dudes-
was so oversaturated. Okay, let me. Have you seen Barbie?
No.
For those of you who have not seen Barbie, let me run the plot by you real quick. Barbie lives in a perfect world that was perfectly made for her perfect self, and she has a doubt one day, and that doubt breaks the reality of her perfect world in such a fashion that she can't even truly exist in it anymore without discovering the source of that doubt, which is an adult who has gotten a hold to an original Barbie.
No.
What, is that wrong?
Here's where it goes squirrely. Her and Ken go to the real world, and the merest, briefest brush with not toxic masculinity, but the impression of masculinity does a complete number on everyone in Barbie Land's head, because Ken finds out about horses and men, and that men can do things. And he goes back to Barbie Land, tells the other Kens that, by the way, in the real world, men do stuff. And immediately all the Barbies put on little maid outfits and start bringing them beers. The merest breath of masculinity breaks their entire fiction.
Whoa.
Whoa. No.
I thought you were going to tell me the moral of the story was like girl power or something, but that sounds.
It is. But in
fake.
order for girl power to take back over, they have to literally subvert everything in the movie themselves. They ruin their own plot, their own perfection by being evil, nefarious witches to unbrainwash by putting a chick in a room and all of them screaming at the woman different feminist ideals until they come around. What does that sound like, Flo?
Propaganda.
Yeah, that's exactly what it takes, is separating them from reality long
sounds
enough
like
for the propaganda to take.
It also sounds like an inversion of reality and of masculinity.
Right. It is. That's the whole point of it. And it's a very layered movie that for a 2.5 hour long Barbie commercial is deeper than you would expect if you're willing to look.
I thought
I
it was
look at
just gonna
things
be a
deeper.
Barbie commercial.
No, I think you have to look at everything deeply.
Not
everything, but something.
Barbie?
Not everything. I take that back.
Right.
Because like if you play checkers, you know that you're not playing chess, and you know that people do play chess.
Ooh, maybe not though. If you play checkers and you're one of those people who never learned to play chess, then you think checkers is the height of thought processes. You think speed checkers is better than regular checkers, and a speed checker person could beat a chess player, but that's not the way that works. You might beat me at checkers, but on any other frontier, you will be outthought. Because chess thinks multiple moves ahead with dozens of pieces simultaneously, and you're thinking about a checker. One.
But people do play chess, right? Right? You agree that people play
Yeah.
chess.
Correct.
And,
Yeah, I played chess. Yes.
and that chess is not, sorry, I'm looking for something to, and that chess is not the same thing as super checkers. So if we know that people are playing chess and that chess players want checker players to keep playing checkers, then we know
Right,
that we're
and if you-
losing at chess.
Go ahead. You got it. If you want to apply a
So
checkers
you have to look at
mindset,
every game as if there might be a chess game. Where's the chess game and the checkers? I think that media in particular, anything that influences people's worldview in a profound fundamental way is chess in my mind. Or it's at least chess by accident, maybe.
they want it to be chess, but these idiots are playing checkers with people that play checkers, and a handful of us play chess, and we see straight through it.
I also think there's backgammon. I don't even know how backgammon
Right.
works. I don't know how that shit even works. That's where the real wizardry comes.
That's right. That's what I'm over here playing is freaking backgammon. My mama taught me backgammon. And
I think
have
our
yet to find
government
anyone to
mostly
play it
plays
with me.
tic tac toe. That's my impression of them.
See, and
Mine's a lot.
but here's the chess move, right? That's of course what if they're playing chess, that's of course what they would want you to think is that they're just dumb wits. Oops, everything that they do wrong is a mistake. It's just because we're airheads. But if they're not airheads, there would be the fruit of their tree would be things like they run the fucking world, right? There would be evidence that they're not actually playing a dumb game, which is that they're winning it.
Actually, I kind of disagree on one point. You might not realize they're playing. You'll be thinking you're playing with someone else while they're winning the game. Layers.
This cigar is so fucking gross.
There you go. Hey, bud, I gotta go to bed. I got 2 shows to produce tomorrow, and I just want
Later.
to come down and say much love, brother. Don't let the
Hey,
gang
thanks for stopping by.
It's good to see you.
You
You
too.
had about another 48 hours before I started bombarding different locations, trying to actually, doing that thing I do behind the scenes,
Yeah, ping
looking for
phone.
your arrest records and shit.
Sure. And actually, it kind of played out the way I expected it would. I sort of expected you to be one of the slower ones I'm in communication with to actually start invading my space. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. But
I might have, I would certainly hope it would be in a derogatory way. Dear God, man, if I'm invading your space and I don't have some stinky fingers yet, I want to know why.
Oh, your fingers will stink.
Damn right. But
That's how you get pink eye.
I might have had my eye on a couple of locations suspected, maybe waiting for certain names to pop up and see whether or not
right.
maybe perhaps.
In the back chat, that's probably where you should, if you ever think, that's probably the county that you need to look in.
I know. I heard you say it once. Once. You didn't even say it. You told someone else in chat that you were in the same county, and my autistic brain went click. Okay.
Information.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a tidbit. It's just a little nugget. We're gonna stick it over. It'll be chewy later. I don't know. All right, man. Peace out.
I pick up on shit like that too. Be good.
Bye.
Later.
Peace.
What is
And
that?
Cynthia makes note cards about information like that.
I sure do.
Oh.
Those note cards are awesome.
I found this box of questions cards the other day.
Oh,
And I
that's
so
asked
cool.
Rolo some of them, but he
Ask me a
messed
question.
it all up.
I want
Ask him
one
a
question.
question.
Okay.
Ask me a question.
Did you make these cards?
No. I found this at the thrift store the other day.
Oh, I thought you said you made them.
I'm gonna
I
be looking
found
for the
them.
little boxes now. Every time I go up in the thrift store, yeah.
What is one? What
I love
one
thrift stores.
goal? What one goal do you hope to accomplish this year?
Not die.
Amen.
If I can achieve
Praise
that,
God.
I'll have achieved my goal.
Yeah.
That's probably Flo's too. She baked the cards.
No, I'm hoping to get my shit expunged this year.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Is it
Yeah.
more?
I normally don't have
I'm
goals, and I
sorry.
normally don't tell people goals because then you're sort of held to them, which I think is part of the point of having a goal. But yeah, this year I'll be eligible to apply in June.
Sun's getting low, big fella. I'm out.
Good luck,
Hey,
Dave.
thanks for coming.
Later.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Barbie, which one goal do you hope to accomplish this year?
Yeah, I get my legal stuff taken care of. So yeah, it'll be the same thing. When I get done, then mine will be expunged, and then all the other stuff. It's two different legal things that are going on at the same time, and they'll both be finished at the same time. So like when that's done, all of that stuff gets taken off my record. So, and that'll be by the
Nice.
summer. Yeah. So happy about that.
High five.
I will have to.
I'm gonna go with make some new friends. Hopefully they're good and intelligent.
I'm building my social media.
That's ambiguous.
I know.
All right, we'll go with it. I won't push you too hard on it.
No, I mean, I
Oh.
just there's just so much I need to do, and it's time I put all that work into myself instead of others. So I'm going hard in the yard for me in 2024.
Well, I guess thank
That's
you
pretty
and
cool.
Fi for having better goals than me and Barbie. Like we're like, woohoo! We're trying not to be losers.
We're
No,
trying to get out
no,
of jail.
Yeah.
Just no, no,
Like
no,
we're trying to do shit we should have already had
let's
going
just-
on.
yeah.
no,
We
don't
did
think like
done, yeah,
that.
but especially me. God.
Slow State's
just
like,
like, I
I'm
don't
trying to get
care.
off the FBI's most wanted list. That's my goal for this year.
You can't expunge that.
Well, not very easily. It can be done, but
I'm
it's
sure it can
complicated.
be, but they don't tend to make those things known.
This is a good one. The other day I had some for Provo and they were just dumb and he answered them dumb. Is it more essential to develop beliefs or gain knowledge?
It's an or.
Ooh.
Gain knowledge.
Mhm.
Because if
I
you have
know,
belief
that's what I was
built
thinking. I
out
was
of
like,
knowledge,
oh.
you don't have shit except for strong feelings. If you have knowledge without beliefs, you still have the knowledge. A belief is an absence of knowledge.
What was the other choice? I already forgot. I'm
develop beliefs or gain knowledge.
Yeah, I would rather go with gain knowledge. I don't know. Because I feel like beliefs is more like a feeling thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm old as shit, so I'm in the develop beliefs phase. So I've gained so much knowledge. I'm trying to gain less knowledge now because I know too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, too much information, dude. I gotta
Yeah.
figure out what's useful at this point.
But see, at some point, you're just talking about beliefs again.
Yeah.
Because if you
So-
believe that you know things and you don't need more knowledge, that is a belief.
Yeah, but some
So,
beliefs are worth pursuing, though. That's why you got to develop them, though.
So I have two monitors now. Steve's like motivating me to step my game up, right? Anyways, so I was able to look up the definition of belief. Hey, Flo, side note, have you met that silver guy yet?
Silver guy.
Silver.
He's like
Thanks.
a rant 2.0,
Oh, God.
right? And so he likes to say a lot of
Oh,
words, and so I can pull up the
gosh.
definitions, and that really irritates him. So beliefs is an acceptance that a statement is true or something exists, or something one accepts as true or real, a firmly held opinion or conviction. So I'm gonna go with beliefs. I got beliefs. You and Barbie have knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And together we form Captain Planet.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love that show
But
when
at
I
some
was a
point,
kid.
it's all a belief. Because you have to believe that you know that the knowledge is true.
An acceptance that a statement
So you
is
go back to
true or
back to beliefs.
something exists. Something one accepts as true or
Yeah.
real.
Right.
That we're about to get into the religious talk, but we're not. I got another
But I
question.
mean, it's philosophical.
Right.
Religion just co-opts it. But
Is justice?
I mean,
Oh.
I was going to say, I think that you can have. I think that the key difference between a belief and knowledge is the sentiment behind it. You can have knowledge absent a sentiment. You can't really have a belief absent the sentiment.
Okay. I got another one. Y'all want another? See, these are great questions. They were crappy questions that I was pulling for provolone the other day. Is
That's good cheese.
or forgiveness more important?
Oh, these are
Ooh,
tricky
damn it.
questions.
So this is
For
good,
who?
Lindsay. We're back in the game, boo.
I think that one is a hard question without like context. I think it's like individual circumstances that would,
Right.
That's not an answer.
yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
depends on if you're on the
Yeah, it is.
giving or receiving end, I guess.
Yeah, because in some situations you may not you may be a victim of something and not get justice. And do you have to forgive your perpetrator? No.
I mean, but you don't really get one or the other.
Even if I got justice, I still wouldn't forgive the. Yeah. Like I think that's what I'm saying. So like it would be individually based circumstances.
Okay.
Because doesn't
That would-
forgiveness
That-
sort of like
that's a harder one to answer.
doesn't forgiveness sort of like cancel justice? Because justice is when there is no forgiveness. So it's kind of like a cause and effect thing with me.
I think that as much as I want it to be justice, because I'm sort of a revenge fetishist, it's forgiveness for all parties involved, because obviously the recipient of justice doesn't want it, and justice doesn't bring resolve. Only forgiveness does.
And even as the giver, like everybody wants justice, but if you have the option for forgiveness, that seems to me to be the higher road. But I don't know.
But I had to
agree.
read a lot of fucking cheesy books in jail that my mom sent me.
To get there. Hey, she got you there. Mom got you there.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Radical.
Ooh.
Radical
Yeah.
Forgiveness
Maybe
with
I
the
need to
bright
watch
pink
some more
cover.
Jordan Peterson.
It was
Gnarly,
actually a
dude.
really
I
good
know,
book.
right?
I never would have ever read this book if I hadn't been stuck in jail where they don't give you TVs or yard time, and I hadn't told my mom I'm sorry for getting
Yeah.
arrested and being shitty. Said I'll read
And
more.
force you to read.
But it's a good book.
Y'all want
I need
another
to
one?
get that. I don't know.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna end
That's
this
tricky.
poll. I'm not gonna do this for every question.
No, no.
But the results of this one are 57% said no, 61% said justice, 38% said forgiveness. So
Okay, last one, and then we'll go on to other stuff. Which of your ancestors would you like to meet?
Oh.
I would like to meet my grandfather's family. He told me wild stories about them.
I would definitely meet my
Mhm.
my dad's dad, my great grandpa through the father lines. He's
Yeah.
my grandpa he died when my grandpa was a baby, and there's a lot of stories about him. I just think we would have gotten along, and I've got some newspaper articles about him, but
Or maybe I would meet my grandfather when he was young, not when I was born,
Yeah.
because he was a fun guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how far you can go back, but I think
Yeah.
I'd go back to one of my Irish ones. They're probably more entertaining than the British ones.
I mean, if you can go way back, I would say probably
Yeah.
one of the Longshanks or Constantine. But I doubt their capacity to have Constantine's DNA to know that we're related or not. Seems a little sus to me.
Well, why is it sus to you?
Because according to the
It's
genealogy,
just like that's
test,
so like
my
far-fetched.
my aunt got one of those tests from the blood tests, and it
23
says
andmes.
that I'm a descendant, right? Direct descendant of Constantine and of
That's
Longshanks, who killed who they kill? Braveheart.
that's gnarly.
I don't know how the fuck they know any of that
Oh,
though. How do they have Constantine's DNA?
William Wallace.
I've come to unite the clans.
Yeah, no, fuck that shit. Don't try to unite anything on my family's watch. So it sounds like it
What?
might just be bullshit to me.
What?
Can anybody explain how they know how they have Constantine's DNA and would be able to know
That's a
that?
good question. I do not know. I think I asked my buddy that before because I said this. I was like, how the fuck do they have? Well, that's a good question
Like,
because they would have to have
I'm
something that would have
cool
it,
with it.
and then to
It's a
test
cool
it destroys the
conclusion.
DNA. So,
But I do
like,
know
they would
that
have to have an ample amount of the test stuff to do that. Like before that, I would feel like a museum would want to give up that for testing because, like, yeah, that's fucking. That seems really sus.
and even then, I just don't know how long. Constantine was, I think it was my 40th great grandpa or something. I just don't know how long I think DNA is good for, how accurate I think those tests are, how likely I think it is that they gave it to 23andMe, versus how much more likely it is that this is a product and they're giving people things that they want, which is an interesting talking point. But I'm trying to look for this. I've got some of these newspaper articles though from my actual great grandpa are fucking are dope. But I can't find it now. So Fide, you said what'd you say?
Irish.
Just one of the Irish ones?
Yeah, because the British are pretty boring. And my parents were boomers,
I'm
so I
a
don't
Native
even know
American.
anything related to that. The Golden Generation was pretty cool, but they'd probably just talk about the Great Depression all day or something. So that's kind of.
Here's one. 2 persons were found guilty violating the prohibition laws when their cases came before the local courts today. Pat Foley, who was arrested Saturday night by Marshal John Clark, was sent blah blah blah. Where's that's not Tuffy, that's what he went by. LL Tuffy. I'm not going to dox my last name, but of Bayfield, who was arrested Saturday afternoon by Constable Jack Couch, was fined $100 and costs in court, and costs in Judge Williams' court this afternoon. A charge of simple possession was lodged against him. It was alleged that he was intoxicated at the time of his arrest, and that liquor was found in his possession. That's not the one I was looking for.
Why is Princess in a dark room with a flashlight on her face?
We don't fucking ever have any idea why Princess is doing the things that she's doing.
Oh, it's not a flashlight. Well, for one, it's hard when you're like having to navigate the realm of Earth when you're from hell, right? So there's that part.
That is
I feel like
true.
you're getting ready to
But I
tell
was
us
reading
some
about
scary
Jesus'
story.
DNA.
What
They have-
about it?
They have Jesus DNA? Where'd they get that sample from?
Well, see, that's what I was like. This is why I clicked on this. I was like, how would they even have that? It says a study discovered the DNA structure of Jesus. But then when I started reading on it, apparently his DNA is unlike that of any human. And I'm like, what? What the?
How did they know they had Jesus
No.
DNA though? Like what sort of?
That's what
scientific
I'm trying.
lab
That's why I was reading
process?
this. I was like, what? Is received of February 14th of 2023. It's a PDF I had to download. Accepted date was 18th of February of last year, and then this was published on the 20th. With it is back from the University of hold on. It's in the Department of Biochemistry, the Faculty of Agriculture at Ain Shams University in Egypt. Apparently, they were able to trace it back to Mary's DNA. But how would they have Mary's DNA?
Where did they get Mary's DNA? Where are all these DNAs?
That's what I was saying. I was like, where is this? Where are they getting this DNA?
Did they also have like Julius Caesar's DNA
No,
too,
that's
or
not true.
was that sitting
That's
in a
not
jar
true.
somewhere?
What's not true?
They don't
That they
have
have
this
Jesus'
DNA.
DNA.
No, I don't think they do either.
I don't
Yeah.
even think the Shroud of Turin was like the actual shroud that they covered his
I
body in
question
and
that
stuff like that.
too.
Because again, like, how would you would have to have like so many witnesses, and then they'd have to like turn it into like a court of law to make sure no one stole it or fucked with it or whatever, and that just doesn't make any sense.
Hey, I heard something this week, Flo, and I thought about us or the panel verse, and it said, if there is something that happens and there is one witness, it becomes fact. Can we
Say
agree
that
to
again.
that? If there is one witness, if something happens and there's one witness, like, so it's just crazy, and there's one witness, it becomes fact.
A
It is
very
The witness, I disagree. I think
skeptical
it's fact
fact.
because it happened.
Yeah, but so if something happened and I told you, you're gonna be like, "Come on, you're making it up. That's
But
not true." But if
but
I
with
brought a
very
witness
low
and said, "No, I
credibility.
witnessed it," would y'all now take it as fact?
Very
It's-
low credibility, but yeah, it's
I mean, it would become your statement would be fact then because you're speaking on something you know is true.
Mm.
That wouldn't necessarily
Yeah.
make it fact, but it would make your statement one of fact as opposed to just opinion
Mm.
or belief, right?
I was
'Cause
more
if you
so
don't-
thinking for the rant conversations.
I mean, I don't
No,
think
if
that
they
we know
saw it.
something through. If
Yeah,
you don't know it through firsthand or through firsthand experience, you really don't know it as much as everybody in institutionalized science likes to disagree with that.
the reason why I like more than one witness is just to like up the ante way up, because like, you know, in case one person was confused or hallucinated or you know whatever, the second person can confirm or deny it, and that helps a lot.
For sure.
Hmm.
I
But
think
we're
that's
still
why
just
most
talking
court of
about
laws
hearsay.
like require at least like 3 to convict someone or whatever, you know, so that's the
But
standard.
we're still talking about hearsay versus knowledge. If I tell you that the Big Bang happened and that's how everything got here, I don't actually have any knowledge of that any more than you do. Right?
I don't think you were there. I'm pretty sure you weren't there when it happened.
Right.
Hmm.
But if I tell you that I hit an armadillo on the ride home tonight, that is something that I would know as a statement of fact because it happened to me.
One of the
So
biggest
the
One of the biggest problems
Mhm.
with hearsay is like mental illness and people who just like to lie and stuff like
Mm.
that. So you know, there's so many variables with humans.
Oh yeah, hearsay is a terrible standard. Almost as bad as drug sniffing dogs.
But dogs lie a lot less than humans, so I would take their
But
testimony.
humans,
more.
humans tell dogs what to hit on. I still
Oh
think
yeah,
one of
you
the,
can train dogs to like
oh yeah,
flag it. But anyways, yeah,
I
that's
think that the drug sniffing dog is one of the most absurd fucking snake oil things of our time. I can't really believe honestly that people that's just accepted as much as it is.
I think that falls into the realm of probable cause or whatever, which is one of those magic phrases, which means anytime they want to do stuff, they'll just do it. They don't really need to convince you that they have a reason. They're just like, I assume something's in the car, so I'm just going to go ahead and search it.
They actually had they put the canine down as a witness on my arrest affidavit.
Did he put his paw on the
Oh
Bible?
my God. Then how would they call that witness to this? Yeah, like what the.
Yeah. No,
I was there,
it's all
Maggie.
absurd. Well,
That's that bullshit.
Zoinks.
I can't find any of the shit that I'm looking for today. Oh, well, what's the next question?
That's a good question.
Hey. Never mind.
That was to you, Cynthia.
Hey guys.
Consult the question box. Will you tell us some scary stories, Princess? I feel like we're at a campfire and you're getting ready to tell us some scary stories.
This would just be like a bunch of really boring stuff for most people because it talks about chromosomes and DNA, and it basically implies that Mary was like artificially inseminated by Gabriel, and it tosses in a bunch of biblical stuff and then all this other genetic testing that they've done with specific parts of the DNA, like the DAX1 and the DMRT1 cell and the SOX9, all these different genes that are in there that it's a bunch of scientific nerdy stuff. It's not really scary. It's just
Scientific
it
observations of
sounds really
what?
nonsensical.
What sample are they talking? Where did they get the sample?
I know that I never got down to because, like I said, they basically implied that Gabriel brought this other information in with his DNA and implanted it in. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm fucking out. That's why I put that. I was like, no. I love my Christian friend to death, but this is why I can't have these discussions sometimes, because then I'll read articles like this and I'm like, this is what they're down here doing. Do you see this? Don't worry about that. Do you see what they're doing here? Forget what he's doing down there. Can we get on with what they're doing on this level?
I want to know what angel DNA looks like now that you bring that
Really?
up, because where did they get those samples
That
from?
too. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, so how do they know that it's not? I think the carbon dating that they do, that I don't think that is right. There's so much
terminology
stuff that don't make sense.
And no, like is
that's
this a
what I'm
belief
saying.
or
Like,
knowledge?
they don't
This
think
is
we can
where
think past our
and I
face.
believe that this is not true. So we're going to hold to that, because
Right.
you are reading knowledge and you hold on to knowledge. You are struggling with that one right now.
Yeah, and I was reading it, and I'm just
What
like,
do you mean?
yeah, I was like, I don't want to
Because she
even
read
know
this
this. This
knowledge.
sounds
She read
stupid.
this. And
But
Yeah,
good.
and now I
She
can't
read
unread
it.
that.
And she
It's
so she
stupid.
gained this knowledge, and so now she has this knowledge, but she's going to struggle back and forth. And I'm not picking on her. I'm just saying that when we went back to that
Yeah,
question, what's
I
the
agree
better
with you.
belief or knowledge? That this is how come Ifi and I are like, no, we don't believe that, and we don't have a second thought about it. Versus,
Don't
she's
believe
like, I don't
every
know.
book you
Yeah,
read.
Hmm?
Don't believe every book you
right.
read.
Exactly.
Don't
But
believe
but
anything.
Because
that's
I just
not
started reading
knowledge.
that, I was like, oh no.
But that's not knowledge. Just because you read something doesn't make it knowledge.
It's not.
No, but think
No.
about the amount of tax dollars that are going into these
Okay,
colleges
let's
that
pull up
fund
the
the
definition.
research that does, like, bro,
There's
That's
good
for
knowledge and
what?
bad knowledge, but it's still knowledge. It's
No.
their claim.
Yeah, but on this
Knowledge.
this figment
Okay.
DNA, like,
Does knowledge, if I say something's knowledge, do
Oh,
you assume that it's true?
no. So
I will ask for your sources
mm,
and evidence and
No. I mean, does the label knowledge assume truth?
no, not
oh
not
no.
yet.
Okay, because I was assuming that knowledge implied truth. That if you know
no.
something,
No,
you know
no,
the
no.
truth.
There's bad knowledge. Like
Okay.
Oh,
that's the problem.
No, but
Yeah.
good and bad is a value judgment.
No, I mean there's just
False
like
knowledge.
false information out there.
Okay.
That's still knowledge
What is of what?
of false claims.
Well, it's not knowledge of it's not knowledge.
But you don't know they're false until you verify that, because and when you don't know, it's
No.
just
That's
another
that's
knowledge.
deeper than the question goes. You know what? This is something I am going to ask take a poll on.
hey, someone in my chat said, shout out to Al, said that bad knowledge is an example of magic. So I looked up the word knowledge because, I'm all definition queen. Oh, yeah, that's my thing. Now that I'm arguing with TML, one day we're going to have an argument and I'm going to have my
I
vocabulary
missed all
game
that.
stepped up. Yeah.
He
I
likes
even have a book.
definitions.
Huh? Yeah. So that's why I'm the definition ready. All right. So it says knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. What
And
is
so the
known in
experience is the problem because some people don't experience things properly. They feel like they saw something or they feel like they know something, and so one man's experience is not the same as the others. That's why I like two witnesses, because then you can cross reference each one of their testimonies, and you increase your probability of reaching truth.
Where's this thing?
Yeah.
Dan
But
Brown.
knowledge is tricky business because even computers can fake shit. So
Yeah.
it's like, did it happen? Well, it looked like it happened, but then you get hold of the original footage and you're like, oh shit, there wasn't even the thing there that the computer added later, and it's like, so which one
Yeah.
was knowledge? But humans are even worse because, like I said, sometimes people just like want to believe shit, and then they think they saw something, and so that fucks up the testimony.
I also think that our memory plays tricks on us.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
our
for
brains
sure.
short circuit all the time. Like sometimes
Mhm.
you just
We
like,
get things cross-referenced and
yeah.
confused.
I mean, we all kind of suffer some form of hallucination, like the old desert trick where you look at
Mhm.
something off
The
in the distance in the
barrage.
desert and there's a mirage. It's because of like the the light waves are not reaching your eyes properly,
Mhm.
but there's shit like that. But there's also like psychological problems too, because like people
Yeah.
can get scared and then their chemicals start bubbling and then they think they see ghosts in the doorway or something like that. It's like, oh. So
Yeah.
Someone from my chat said, knowledge is power. Knowledge is, where did it go? Knowledge is power. Can you believe in truth or false depends on the influencer.
I didn't understand that.
Knowledge is power. I think you have to believe in truth or false, and it depends on the influencer.
So this comment means that that person does not believe in that true and false exist?
I don't know. Knowledge is power.
Correct.
Can have you believe in truth or false depends on the influencer. So I guess it's saying like the gurus, like they can tell us stuff and we can believe it is true. I mean, we can take a look at what David Koresh, we can take a look at Jim Jones. Those people believed it was true, but it wasn't. But they believed that influencer because he sold them a dream. Both exists. Yeah. Did I get it right?
I never liked the saying knowledge is power. I always felt like wisdom is power, because knowledge is just knowing that, why the snow is yellow, but wisdom is not eating it. So,
Yeah.
Ooh, yellow snow. I've never ate it before. Let me check it out.
I mean, you
Here,
can
I
know what
I gotta read one or two of these news clips since I found them. This is why I would choose to meet his great grandpa. Oh no, I just lost it.
Okay, so I pulled it up because I'm that chick now. It says knowledge is information or awareness that someone has about a subject gained through learning and education. Wisdom is the ability to make sound judgment and good decisions about a subject based on insight, understanding, and experience.
Because if knowledge is power, then the internet is the most powerful being in the universe that we know
But
of.
see, it's not, because you can't trust the information. So it's not actually knowledge you're getting.
Yeah.
You're getting a lack of knowledge.
And then it sums it up saying
And
knowledge
a lot of
is simply
propaganda.
knowing, and wisdom is being wise.
And the chat is completely split on it too. 52% say yes, knowledge does imply truth. 47% say no. I think it does.
Look at you having a well-balanced chat.
I'm a well-balanced individual, right?
right.
Okay, I would share screen,
That's
but I can't
nice.
do it without doxing my last name all over the place. But my great grandpa went by Tuffy, which I'm told is less tacky in the 20s than it is now.
It went by
Tuffy,
what?
he went by Tuffy. His name was Leon, but he's referred to as Tuffy. Tuffy,
Nice.
he was a boxer.
Okay.
Tuffy and Whistling Jack, whose other name was unknown to the police department, were placed under arrest yesterday afternoon and incarcerated in the municipal Bastille for infracting one or more of the city's ordinances regulating the conduct of all citizens. The pair of prisoners were alleged to have been engaged in a serious affray with their fists in the bank saloon, from whence noises of battle attracted the attention of several officers of the law. According to the appearance of one of the belligerent Pinchies, there had been some fighting in progress. Whether the right or the left wings or the center got the worst of it, the police are unable to succinctly state. The two laid in jail last night for a time. And where'd it go?
Has Joshua Jones and Emperor Dave ever been on the same panel before? That would be interesting.
I don't believe so. Not that I know of.
They're both in the comments. Come on up,
So-
fellas. The water's fine.
So someone said, such as we all know, JFK was assassinated. Some know Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it, and some believe
Yeah.
he did. It depends on the influence. You can believe more, but both knowledge, but one is only true.
Say that again.
Such as we all know that JFK was assassinated, some know Lee Harvey Oswald isn't. Hang on, the chat keeps moving. Assassinated. Some know Lee Harvey Oswald isn't the one who did it. Some believe he did, and some believe he doesn't. Depends on the influencer. You believe
Sure.
most, but both have knowledge, but only one is true.
Look, so if I tell you that 2 is 3, did I give you any knowledge?
Well,
You gave me the
Maybe
knowledge
not.
that you don't know how to do math.
No, you derived that knowledge, and that would be an accurate derivation, right?
oh,
So no, but that example works out well because it displays that you did not gain any knowledge, and in fact, if anything, you derived false knowledge. You lost knowledge because beforehand you would have assumed I know how to do 1 + 1, right? But then if you derive the wrong thing because you got bad information, that there's nowhere in there is knowledge gained or lost. I mean, it's lost, it's not gained. So I think that
There's also irrelevant knowledge. That's another problem because there's like infinite amount of data. So like
that's also
you have
true.
to filter out the useless stuff to, be productive. That was where I was going with wisdom because like I said, the internet has like tons of information, but if you don't filter out all the bullshit, you're never going to learn anything useful. So
Last Saturday, Tuffy, a well-known prize-fighting celebrity, had a fistic argument with a Swedish nobleman who holds an exalted position in one of the log camps, the affair taking place under the auspices of Joe Lawton's bootlegging rendezvous in the old minimum house at the rear of the Ford Livery Barn. That
He's going
sentence,
around
that
beating people
sentence is the
up.
one I was looking for. That's just a great sentence.
he's a lumberjack and he's okay.
I'll read it again for you because it's a lot to. Last Saturday, Tuffy, a well-known prize-fighting celebrity, had a fistic argument with a Swedish nobleman who holds an exalted position in one of the log camps, the affair taking place under the auspices of Joe Lawton's bootlegging rendezvous in the old minimum house at the rear of the Ford Livery Barn. What the fuck is even going on?
He busted in on some bootleggers, is what it sounds like, and it roughed them up.
I mean, there's
And one of the ringleaders, and it was a very fistic.
Each of the combatants was fined $10 and costs in police court. As is often the case, they then turned around and bit the hand that fed them. And Joe Lawton was arrested on a bootlegging charge. With skillful help of attorney Galbraith, he was acquitted by a jury of his peers. However, the tangled tops brew so confused defendants and witnesses that evidence enough was obtained to rearrest and convict him on a charge of keeping a gambling house, for which misdemeanor and erstwhile proprietor of the said rendezvous was fined $300 and 30 days in jail, or to leave town by Tuesday noon and remain away for at least 2 years. He chose the latter,
Wow.
and now instead of 40 bootleggers and 10 horns, Pagosa has but 39. So yeah, it sounds like that there's a boxing match at one of the bootleg places, and my great grandpa was one of the fighters, and he was fined $10.
Nice.
So, anyways,
Get it,
that's why.
James.
Did you ever meet your grandpa, or you just like have secondhand knowledge of him?
This is about my great grandpa.
Oh, great grandpa. I thought you said
Right.
great.
And my grandpa never met him. He died when my great grandpa was the youngest of 8 or 7. And his dad died when he was a baby. Depending on who you ask, it was either in a train wreck from a tooth infection, or he got shot. So who knows?
Well, that's,
Whoa.
that's a very
Probably
good
the
story.
tooth infection, because that just sounds more realistic, and a lot of people used to die from infections.
Mm.
Oh, I just saw Sarah in the comments. Here's an interesting topic. Do you guys believe that it's possible to do mind control through like brain waves or satellite signals or whatever?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So like, do you wear a
Through radio-
tinfoil hat or something, or like, how do you stop it?
Wait, mind control through radio communication?
Nice,
Through
Thomas.
radio signal.
Yeah. That there, some people believe that. They still believe that, and so I thought that was like a '50s thing when we were just starting to discover technology or whatever. But
This is why
Well,
knowledge is more important than beliefs. Hold on, Barbie, I
It's
got you.
kind of it's kind of an inaccurate claim. So you can use like high frequency signals and fucking drive people crazy. They do this shit all the damn time.
no. I'm not talking about
Um,
like sonic weapons. I'm talking about like like satellites that
Well-
control your thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is like you can take a radio frequency and just basically change the frequency to be just that. So I guess sort of there's like a little bit of truth to it, but usually when we say like mind control, it's kind of like, yeah, if you want to drive people crazy, sure, right? But you can't control crazy.
I mean, you can't like make them
the
do
emphasis
things
on
like
control.
like drive the car
Right,
down
right.
the road and do this next instructions or something like that. You just make
Right,
them,
right.
You,
You
can give them a
can't get.
headache or something.
You can give them headaches. You can make them sick. You can make them go mad and do stuff that they normally wouldn't do. You just can't be real
That's not
specific
mind
with the
control.
control.
That's just like mind
Correct.
fuckery.
Well, we use it in warfare. Use it in riot control. It's all kinds of weird shit.
Can you like change their personality or something and make them peaceful? or something like
Yeah, temporarily. Like that's making a person go crazy is like temporarily making them behave in a way that they normally would not act.
And what
So-
would the
so
range
sort of,
on something
yes,
like
but-
that be? Can you do that from a satellite, or do you have to be on the battlefield with them with a big truck or something?
Can you make it? Ask it again. Can you make what?
Can you do it from
Can
a
you do it from a
satellite
satellite?
out in space, or do you have to be on the battlefield with them with a big truck like
I-
10 feet away?
I don't know if satellites would have enough energy sources for that. You need a lot of energy coming from that type of distance. So that I don't know.
Interesting.
I guess in theory, if you had enough power up there in one of those things, like I don't know, a nuclear reactor with just unlimited amount of power, yes, theoretically. Do they have them up there like that? I don't know.
I'm gonna play some. This is a video I did over a year ago. It's short, but it's pretty insightful.
So JJ, you never met Emperor Dave? You need to meet him. He's a pretty cool cat.
Oh yeah, Imp Dave's cool. And he's
Yeah,
alright.
most people don't like me nor trust me, nor should they.
Yeah, no, I agree with all those things. I like him for some stupid ass reason.
Damn, CJ, where you live? I can't believe none of you guys have purple lights. I walked down the street with myself, and I got two just right down the street here, right by me.
Optogenetics is the ability to
remember this
manipulate
slide.
individual neuronal circuits, refining our vision, the function of individual circuits, and how they relate to different aspects of our behavior and of our personality.
The basal ganglia is a part of your brain that is damaged in Parkinson's disease. This part of the brain contains many kinds of neurons, and they're all intermingled. If you activate a certain subset of them with optogenetics, you can make a rat freeze up and have difficulty walking. If you activate a different subset, the rats start moving faster.
They take light-sensitive proteins from very humble species, such as algae, and can put them into another animal, such as a rat or a mouse. This gives you the ability to control the activity of your brain cells just by shining light on them.
So imagine if we could use optogenetics or similar
Why are
technology
these
to
lights
get
blue?
the input from an artificial sensor into our brain. In principle, we could not only restore function, we could enhance our current functions. So we could give ourselves ultraviolet light detectors, for example, the way mantis shrimps have. Or we could take an example from fruit flies and give ourselves carbon dioxide detectors, and then we could automatically sense our air quality.
The interesting thing about purple lights and blue, violet, is that it can hold the most data. There's scientific experiments with LED lights, as we see the LED lights being rolled out all over the world, not only for the Internet of Things, but these LED lights, there's scientific experiments proving that they can place false memories into people's brains and also control nanoparticles in the behavior of mammals and bacteria. Harvard researchers are saying there's a dark side to this blue light. This is why they make blue light glasses. But the reason it can store so much data for this mind control with purple and blue and violet that we see these lights popping up everywhere. This is why we have Blu-ray discs and Bluetooth, because blue can hold the data.
So far, optogenetics has had a lot of impact in the scientific world, but it hasn't been used in any human patients yet. There are a couple reasons why. One is that it requires a gene therapy. It requires a gene therapy to deliver the gene that encodes for these light-activated molecules into the body. Currently in the US, there are no FDA-approved gene therapies. In Europe, there's just one.
Boy, that was that was a lot of bullshit all wrapped together with a lot of overemphasis on a lot more bullshit.
Go on.
Okay, so like the idea of light being, able to transfer information has always been the case. Take like Morse code, using like those flicker light things. You're using light to communicate.
It's
So
literally
the idea,
you're literally taking in
right?
information.
Right.
Mm.
All it comes down to is
Another example.
yeah, fiber optics is the same thing. You're taking light and you're transferring, well, a shitload of data through that, right? So the idea that you can use light to transfer information, not complicated. We actually utilize some of that with satellite imagery. It's just the encoding process is complicated. But I mean, it's doable, right? Now the
Shout out to OTW who's in the chat watching. Just got a membership to the Flow State of States. Welcome, OTW. Welcome to the States.
And thank you, Can't Spell Lou, for 10 more memberships for lighting it up.
Pretty sure this.
Sorry, go ahead. So far, I agree
like
with most of what you're saying.
yeah, the
but,
idea of light communication is absolutely not a new thing, not even by hundreds of years.
Correct.
Now, color manipulation, kind of nifty. We've known this for like a long time. You go into like a doctor's office, the walls are painted certain ways to kind of keep it calm. You can use just about anything to manipulate behavior, colors, temperature, sound, or like all kinds of weird shit. None of this is like new concepts. What they're talking about is they're trying to make it a little bit more specific. Like they want to make the details a lot more specific, like shine a light at you and you raise your right arm or some shit like that, right? That's where things get a little bit weird. And this whole like bioengineering, not actively, like you can do it through breeding. You can't actively do it. Most of the DNA sequencing that we tried to alter, we usually almost always kill the subject. It's like probably one of the most dangerous things you can do. Radiation, that's exactly what it does. It just, well, unfortunately, it doesn't really recode. It just destroys DNA in itself. But I mean, that's effectively what you're trying to do. You need a lot of energy to do it. And it's almost, I think so far, it's like 99.9% fatal. That's why people don't do it.
What you know about this topic?
Genetic sequencing, studied GMOs, trying to really understand it. You know how the media was. Like, go back 10, 15 years, bananas were like, altered, like, oh, they're horrible, they're GMO. Well, they went extinct, and so we had to replace them with something. So that was a GMO. It's when people start using terms, you kind of ask a lot of questions like, well, why is it a bad thing? It goes back to that concept of knowledge, right? You just know stuff. Somebody says something, you take it with a grain of salt, right? Could be true, might not be true. You just put a little emphasis that you hope that the person you're communicating with isn't trying to deceive you. Aside from that, maybe they only know like 5% of a thing. So you just kind of read as much as you can. I don't watch TV, I read manuals.
Cool.
So
it's not complicated.
It's
just not complicated.
I think you're right.
I'm not hearing anything that I disagree with or that that goes against what they're saying. Could it be presented? Is it being presented in a way that could be more dramatic than what it is? Sure. Does that mean that anything there is wrong? No.
Wow.
Okay, give me something specific that you heard that you think is
because the way they're phrasing things, they're trying to do very specific alterations of, say, behavior, personality, things like that. Things like you would normally behave based on something like in this case, like say light, in this case blue light, right? Yes, you can already use color sequencing to change behavior or to alter behavior, at least temporarily. It's doable. They're trying to basically make it more specific. Now, the original claim is like a genetic modification. You might be able to do through breeding, not so much through like a live subject and keep that subject alive to actually do tests on for a very long.
They made the claim that they could trigger different muscles in shrimp or whatever they were saying using nothing but light. Is that a false claim?
No, not exactly. So you can destroy, you can grow muscle tissue through a lot of with ultraviolet lighting. I have to go back and look on this one. You can actually do a lot of things with like ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet's still blue. It's still a form of blue light.
Yeah, it can be in that.
Violet, purple. I thought that was the reason why it was called violet.
Light is a physical property.
It's on the blue end of the light spectrum.
Physical impacts, correct?
So why are they putting blue lights on the lamppost? I didn't ever hear a reason why.
Oh, I sort of skipped over it, and it's implied. That's just my own conspiracy theorizing. I imply that it could have something to do with that.
Then why would they add a blue light filter to the phones if they knew that it wasn't if they didn't think that it was harming you? Because they passed a law that makes them put that shit in our phones now because they know that it is. So.
But I mean, what's the experiment they're doing? They're testing to see like if blue light makes people angry or something. Like what are they trying to
I'll put the link to that video in the chat so that if people are interested in revisiting that, they can. When I was doing research on it, there wasn't very much information available. So I kind of snipped out some of what I could get, which is that yes, you can impact people. So yes, you can impact people using, or you can impact organisms using nothing but light, and blue light is one of the best ways to do that. Now, to your original question, can you mind control people using light? I think that the only honest answer is we don't know. All you can do is deductively reason, and it makes a lot of sense to me that if we could, we would not know about it. I think that's the thing I can say.
We do know. We just don't know how specific you can get. Again, colors. Colors is just basically light shading, right? There's nothing fancy about it. It's a reflective pattern for a color. We use colors for all kinds of weird shit to change modification or change behavior. An example, flashing blue light. What does that usually imply to most people within the US? See a flashing blue light.
Pull the fuck over.
Cops coming, things like that, right? Like there's authority. So, I mean, it's like we already do it, and it does have like a behavioral change to it. We just don't know how specific you can get with it, right? The idea is show somebody like a blue light and make them lift their right arm, something very specific. That's where things get a little muddy. I don't personally think it's possible, but hey, could be wrong.
And I think it is possible. I don't think that we probably know how to do it. But I definitely there is no doubt that light can be. I mean, it's when I was the fucking jail I was in used light in this way. They want jail to be a stressful place so that people take plea deals to try to get to prison or whatever's next. One of the methods they used at the jail I was at is 24/7 lockdown. You had no windows, you had no yard time. You had 24/7 fluorescent lighting, like a lot of it.
Wait, you got no you got no yard time within it. Hold up. You weren't allowed to go out in like a rec area over a 7-day period?
Correct.
Ooh. Yeah, that's illegal.
Can you tell me
all over the country?
How do I find more about that? Because I assumed it probably was. I didn't realize at the time what they were doing is it's the what is it? It's the interrogation techniques that they use in Guantanamo and shit.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to pull off like a legal action. You could probably most likely look into like a civil prosecution. That way you get money. That's generally how you change your town policies, like how your jail is operated. That's how you go about that. You sue the living shit out of the sheriff's department, whoever runs the jail.
Well, I'm going back to try to get it expunged in June. So, there's a good chance that just walking in that county, they'll be like, "Hey,
don't go for expungement and like civil action against your town or county at the same time. That's bad. Don't do that."
But no, I do want to know about that.
Expungement, then go after them.
Because they did that for sure all the time. No windows, no yard time, 24/7 lockdown. And everything was either stainless steel or painted white. The fluorescent light bulbs were on constantly. I asked them why once. They said so the cameras work. Like anybody doesn't have you can even get cameras that don't have infrared. But yeah, it was a pressure technique. I went over, and the only time you did ever get to see the sky was if you had court. Then you'd get the parking lot in between the jail and the courthouse during that walk. So I went over a month without seeing the sky, and that shit starts to fuck with you for sure.
Yeah, I've never heard of like not even an isolation, when they put you in the box, whatever the hell they call that. Like that's not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I assumed it wasn't, but they rely on people's ignorance and inability to do things about it. So when I looked into things a little bit when I got out, I learned enough about the interrogation techniques that they got in trouble for in Iraq to recognize one of them when I saw it. But I also learned enough about, because jail is meant to be a temporary facility, not a permanent housing facility, that there just really isn't a lot of laws regulating that. But
there sort of are. It's just there's not a problem. It as a civilian, you can't really enforce laws. That's kind of like not your place. The only tool that a civilian would generally have against like a local government is going to be a civil action. Like that's the tool that you have. It's just hard to pull off while you're being subject to the authority.
Which I'm not anymore, except to the extent that they have to approve my expungement.
Get your expungement first. Go to focus on that. Everything else takes secondary. Get that off your shit.
Yeah, but yeah,
that should be priority.
They did a lot of shit. He wasn't there the same time I was, but under a month before I got there, there was a dude they had in solitary who was so desperate to get to any other facility at all that he started eating his own shit so that he could get sent to a mental hospital instead. They fuck with people there.
I've never been to a mental facility. I heard they were kind of a little worse than jail.
Not than this jail. 24/7 lockdown, no yard time. Like all the things I just described. There were 8-man cells, called them tanks, which is a 30 by 30 room with you got 1 book at a time per inmate, 2 decks of cards, no TV, no commissary, no visitation. The video chat thing. The video visitation thing we got one time and then they got rid of that. Yeah, you get nothing but a sheet, a bed mat, and a lot of bright lights.
Yeah, them fluorescent lights, they'll kick the shit out of you. I don't know about those little fuckers. Spend enough time underneath them, they'll drive you insane.
So don't go to jail? Is that what you're trying to tell us, Flo?
Not yeah, don't go to jail.
Okay. I was thinking about it, but you convinced me.
And especially not in a small town.
So JJ, have you ever seen any aliens, or is that just like the latest distraction?
I've only seen one object that was flying that I could not identify. It was clearly man-made. I just had no clue. Some kind of weird aircraft.
Is it me, or is it just seems like it just keeps coming back in waves of like fads? You know, it's like a fad for a week, and then everybody forgets about it for another 2 or 3 years, and then it becomes a fad again or something.
So this is why I absolutely hate Flo, because like he's a conspiracy guy, but he only takes it up to a point. You're like, you have to cross a line before you can, be considered a nut job, right? He never goes to that. He never crosses over that line. So a UFO is really nothing more than an object that's flying that you can't identify, period. There's nothing like special about it. It doesn't have additional claims like, oh, it was from aliens. That's an additional claim.
Right. I'm talking about aliens. I'm not talking about like strange,
Hold on. First, let me hit this super chat. Just hear me out. Thank you for the $5, bro. What the fuck is this cover art? That is The Taste of Home. And why is Lindsay Smith so eager to steer the conversation back to it in the chat? I cannot explain her, but I will play. This is just a prototype, but this is a prototype for what I'm working on for a video for super chats.
It'll make you filthy and rich. Can you imagine how much sweet, sweet cabbage you'll be piling up? The math is simple. Stacks plus stacks equals more stacks. So get green. See what I'm saying?
I miss the days when Bill Nye actually talked about science.
Bill Nye's a fun.
But go ahead.
He's a nut job. Okay, so
this is what drives you nuts about me is that I only take it so far. Here's the point, though. My underlying principle is always that people behave in self-serving ways, and so they will lie if there's a reason for them to do so.
Yes,
that's always my underlying foundation, and it's a solid one. Go.
I want to
say that again, Flo. Say that again.
People always behave in self-serving ways. And if it is self-serving for them to lie about something, like what they have the capacity to do, then they'll do so. There's no self-serving reason, though, usually for people to be honest.
Can't agree with the 100% always. Can agree with the majority of the time, like 95% of the time. It's generally the practice of human nature to be self-serving. It's definitely the majority position. The always part gets a little weird.
It's almost always it's in your interest to not disclose more than is useful. So, for instance, something like zero-G technology. If we had it, I can say logically, I think there's really no reason at all to think that we would know about it. Same thing with anything that Phi will think is all out in the woods.
From a military perspective, you absolutely would not want the general public to be aware of like zero-G gravity tools. Like if you have that ability,
from any perspective, from a leverage position in business and interpersonal relationships, in any area of life.
Well, no, in business, like the interest would be money. So now you've got a tool you can sell. People would just go ape shit over it. Think about transportation. Yeah, like no more money being wasted on tires, oil, shit like that, right? Yeah. From a commercial perspective, yeah, you'd probably want people to know about it so you could sell, stuff for it. That would be the interest of the money, though, right? Military, though, you wouldn't want enemies to have a better capability than you have, and you also
economically,
wouldn't want.
It's not even that straightforward because there's a lot bigger industry around supporting the tire industry than there is around supporting the non-existent zero-G one. Any market disruption will
currently, yes, but that's not the driving factor. It's not the industry that controls it so much as like the ability. Think like the red pill community, right? Sex bots are a real thing. Like they got some weird looking shit out of there. That was like 10 years ago. They had a thing on 60 Minutes where I'm like, this is creepy as shit. But there was a demand for it because they'd already had a pricing. They had already had a clientele for it, right? The only problem was at that time was I think it was like 9,000 euros. Don't ask me why it was in euros. That's where the company was at that given time, right? There was a demand for it. The problem you would think though is with the red pill community, like fuck all women kind of thing, this type of mentality. Now that there's a bigger drive for it, we have that bigger drive. There's just an alternative like the AI bullshit. The visual sexual bots, guys are really weird about how you market to them, but it's not the industry, like say the sex bot industry that would control, the demand from the clientele. It's actually the people. If they know about it, they're most likely
know
go
what to demand for there to be a market.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So the economic considerations are a lot more complicated than the militaristic ones. There's a lot more.
Yeah, but the military takes total control, like period. That is your top echelon.
Right. All I was saying is that there's that the principle of withholding, not disclosing unnecessary information, it applies everywhere.
Like from a general person's perspective or from like an industry perspective?
Anywhere. Industry, in your marriage, in your anything you don't know about me cannot be used against me. That's
How
a
did we get
principle
from
that's true.
aliens to sex bots? I've missed the connection.
Oh, well, aliens is kind of an interesting question because my first question about an alien was, how would you know it's an alien? If you saw a thing, some kind of organism, right? How would you know it's alien?
Because we haven't found any other organism on Earth like that.
Sure, we find new species all the damn time. Roughly about 9 a year, I think.
Well,
is
I mean,
the
it's
average.
like a humanoid species flying around in a metal saucer or something. It's probably not a breed of dog.
Dude, look at World War II aircraft. There's a couple flying saucers that the Nazis, I think they were the first to actually build the shit. It looked like a hovercraft, basically, that could
So do
fly
you
about
think
like
You would know because your pre-existing paradigm controls the options available to you.
Do you think the government's just fucking with people and like help create these stories of aliens or something? Like, what do you think's going on?
helping in a way where it's like a distraction, or look at the right hand so you don't see, or I'm going to wave my right hand so you don't see what my left hand is doing. Sure, in that concept, yeah. Mostly bullshit you see within social media, that's mostly random crazy nut jobs on the internet kind of thing.
Plus, you have the general public that would love to believe that it's true, so it's not hard to convince people.
I would absolutely not want to have to deal with an alien life form that's capable of coming to Earth.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, that's bad for us.
Especially if they like watch our internet, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, we gotta nuke this place."
I wouldn't care if they were watching our internet. If they were able to get to Earth and show up here, right? They've already beat us. Technologically,
Lindsay, thank you for the $5 super chat. Just Hear Me Out's birth certificate is an apology letter to humanity.
It'll make you filthy f***ing rich. Can you imagine how much sweet, sweet cabbage you'll be piling up? The math is simple. Stacks plus stacks equals more stacks. So get green. See what I'm saying?
All right, I'm gonna quit playing that
I
one
gotta-
for now because it needs.
I
it
gotta
needs
ask,
worked out.
why would people sit around thinking about aliens? Like, well, why would you want to spend your time with that concept?
Because they're hoping there's intelligent life somewhere in the universe because it's not here.
It's it's a concept that
I thought you'd like that.
we've been taught to think about it.
Because people want Star Trek technology and be able to fly around in space and shit. They think it's gonna happen.
We can fly around in space. Can't live very long.
No,
but-
like Star Trek, like we just drive our car to the supermarket kind of technology.
Oh yeah, propulsion system would be nice.
Not the $10 billion just to get into orbit, just so you can brag to all your billionaire friends kind of budget. Like more like just casual flying to Venus to pick up some rocks or whatever.
God, I hope they're not flying to Venus.
Also, even if we get like space travel technology, like spaceships and shit, the nearest planet that's even useful is like hundreds and thousands of light years away. So we would need super advanced technology before it even became useful.
But do you agree with my premise, Fi, that what I was saying about lying, that humans will act self-servingly and will lie if it's in their self-interest?
Oh, definitely. That's very well known. Yeah.
Do you think that applies to the education system?
Definitely.
Yes.
I think
Do you
they go
think
hand in
that
hand.
if you were just plopped into existence and had never been told anything, what would you think we were living on?
A big rock.
Would you
I
think
see.
and then okay, let's just I'm trying to avoid the shape debate. You wouldn't automatically assume that an alien, if you met one, was an alien, would you?
No, I don't. Even if you did meet an alien,
If I just got plopped down, even other human beings would appear alien to me, especially if they look different.
I'm not gonna
Have
lie.
you ever seen that movie, A Brother from Another Planet?
No.
It's about an alien that came down in life form, like he was a man, and he came down, and he had to learn to live like a man, and he was really confused. He got left behind on the spaceship, but he was a brother from another planet. He was black. It was interesting to watch him try to figure out how to put shoes on, and he got a girlfriend, and he didn't understand what a relationship was.
I mean, there's a lot of absurdities that we have historically believed and that we still believe.
I heard Earth girls are easy, Cynthia. I don't know if that helps, but
maybe not.
If you had to tell me what benefits do you think it could be to have people believing the current scientific consensus?
Marketing generally is the case. And then we've got proof of concept of this, not because like the scientific community is doing it. It's because there's a lot of commercial entities that will utilize specific information that comes out of science, slightly alter it, and basically you got a sales pitch. In most cases, are like a pretty damn good one.
I always get concerned about whenever scientists throw out the word consensus, because most scientists I know very rarely consent on all the ideas that are claimed in the public, that
And
9 out
yeah,
of 10 scientists agree or whatever, you know.
it's a red flag for sure, and it should be.
But
that's also because it has a different meaning within science than it does within society. Consensus within society, like how we use the word, is like we all get together and we by majority agree. That's not the same concept within
unless
scientific
you're talking
community.
about like
They mean
elementary
consensus.
science where we like know that, you know, hydrogen and oxygen makes water and shit like that, you know, like anything beyond that, there's very little consensus in most science in the theoretical stuff they're throwing around.
Well, it's based on the concept of argument, like how a thing comes to be, like how a theory comes to it be in existence. It's based out of like conflict. There's
take for example our recent medical adventures into the Kung Flu. Would you say there was a medical consensus among all doctors about what caused it,
No.
how to treat it, how to prevent
No.
it, all that stuff?
No.
Or even where it came from?
No. Matter of
Oh,
fact,
everybody knows where
most
it came from.
yeah,
Well, so, I mean, what's the point
the
that
vast
you're trying to get to with that question?
What's that?
What was that? No, nobody believes there's consensus. But what point were you trying to make with that?
I'm just showing that like a lot of people think there's consensus, even like with all these, you know, doctors and organizations about like how they feel about vaccines and stuff like that. And look at
You gotta not say that word though.
sorry, injections.
What I'm trying to pull out is that the scientific method is entirely the opposite of what science is presented to us in school.
Well,
Even basic shit like the periodic table of elements, that's alchemy, buddy. That's the occult. That's not even.
No, we actually have microscopes that can see atoms, so that stuff's been settled. That's the consensus part. We all agree that again, hydrogen and oxygen makes water. That's pretty simple. But but
what you're telling me is dogma. You have never seen these. You have never combined these molecules.
Again, scientists, you can see atoms in an electron microscope, dude.
I'm not talking about whether or not I think they exist in reality. I'm talking about literally what is happening right now is you're repeating dogma to me instead of applying the scientific method. I'm telling you, as far as you've applied the scientific method.
Oh, me personally, no, I haven't.
So what you're telling me is
I don't
dogma.
want an electron microscope.
What's happening now is dogma. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that this is what's happening now. It's not the scientific method.
But I've been in
And I think
labs.
it's fascinating that that science class teaches everything that your average student cannot apply the scientific method to. You got dinosaurs, space, molecules, like all this shit that's supposed to be science, but you can't. Anyways, Josh, I feel like you were cooking on something.
There are people that know, but I can't tell you one of the biggest problems in science and stuff is speciality. So the problem with knowledge is that we keep getting deeper and deeper into knowledge to the point where a long time ago our knowledge was so simple that everyone in the room understood what everyone was talking about, but eventually it became so specialized. Hold on. Just follow me here. It eventually became so specialized that it takes like a 12-year PhD to understand this one thing you're studying. And now you're unable to communicate with anybody in the room because the only person who knows that is your fellow PhD who also studied for 12 years for that one thing. And so that's where the communication is broken down.
Kind of yes and kind of no. So it's like the phrasing, right? Like when you say you understand something, that's always going to be a question, right? What they're talking about is like comprehension. Can you take the information and do something with it? That's generally the metric of
That's what I'm talking about.
comprehension.
Communication. Like even if the PhD guy who
No,
thinks he has a knowledge claim about this particle or, a molecule or whatever, and then he tries to communicate it to like an engineer to build a machine to do this stuff, the engineer has no idea what he's talking about because he has to become a 12-year PhD to understand that molecule thingy. And so it's getting that specialized where it's so hard to effectively communicate any useful information at this point.
but it's always been that way. Like even before, like what we would consider like modern technology was always that way.
Well, again, a long time ago, the technology was simple enough where you didn't have to get a 12-year PhD. You could just have like a 4-year, science degree and pretty much understand most of the stuff we're talking about.
So technology would have been like less utilized. Not to say it wasn't available. There was tools, as far back as like a couple thousand years, easy.
There's
We've
another
always had-
perfect example. Technology is fucking us over too, because again, a long time ago, humans didn't even have calculators, so they had to like use their brains to do math. And now we have calculators to do math for us, so it's making our brains softer. Where like we don't
I
even
agree with
think
that,
critically.
but Josh, you're not going to let him just move off the things used to be simpler. Hubris, are you?
Yeah, it's like it wasn't the concept that it used to be simpler. It was things were always complicated. Tools would have been complicated, 500 years ago. Nothing would have been different in that concept. You got like several arguments in here.
Architecture was more complicated.
Is what?
Our architecture, for one, was more complicated. But I mean, like, I don't think that there's any actual logical reason to believe that things have gotten simpler. Now we know that men can get pregnant. But we don't know how we can construct some of the things that we used to construct. I think it's safe to say we've gotten stupider. Our houses are made of paper and sticks.
We definitely got stupider. That's another problem, because not only is our technology getting more complicated, the people using the technology are getting even dumber. So like now we can't even handle basic level science, which again, a long time ago they could, because they had to use their brains to think critically, and that's how they solve problems. But now everybody just Googles the answer.
Putting a lot of people in a very small boat.
The general,
the general population have always been dumbasses. Always, go back 1,000 years ago.
But even
always
the
the general
educated population back then had to think harder than the ones that they do now.
Education back in Roman times would have been like, I don't know, fucking Aristotle, like the philosophy concepts, right? But your technology would have been not what it is today. It's not the comparison. Well, the comparison's a problem, but it's because of the expectation. Like you believe that we all go to school for like, say, like the minimum 12 years, whatever the state, requirement is, right? And that we're all, because we have access to all this information, we're all supposed to pop out equally as doctors, mechanics, engineers, like we should just graduate, even with say like a PhD degree, and pop out the other end, being able to be aware of, or being comprehensive in all of these different fields. It's not the case, and it's never been the case. That's why there are doctors that are just specifically doctors. You don't take your car to go get your car fixed from, to a local doctor. You go to get yourself fixed. Right? Like it's all specialty. It's always been that way.
There's doctors for just like one part of your body. That's how specific they are.
Sure. But I mean, like I'm trying to compare like different fields against each other, and you're kind of like trying to compare them like we're all supposed to pop out the other end smarter because we have all of this. No, there's a person couldn't live long enough to even acquire even 10% of all of these different fields, at least enough comprehension in it to even be able to do anything with it.
The world has always been complicated. That's not new.
But our
Right.
knowledge was simpler back then, and now our knowledge is much more complicated.
I don't. No, that's not. You can't say that with. Why would you go ahead? Like support that claim?
Because like a long time ago, we were trying to look at things on a like quark level of specificity. Now we're talking about like dark matter and all kinds of fucked up shit. That
which is I'm glad you said dark matter, because that, to me, dark matter is what they had to create to make the mathematical models work that don't work without it. If anything sounds
Yeah,
like bullshit to me, it's dark matter.
or
Well,
black
that-
holes
that's
and shit like that.
No. So dark matter is effectively something that has to exist to make up. Well, you said it mathematically, right? It's a slot holder. It's a word slot holder for a thing that they don't know that it exists, but there's something that has to be there to equal out the energy based on other theories, right? It's just a slot holder. It's like saying the word nothing. You've
Instead
never
of
in your
saying that our
entire life
theories are
experienced
bad,
nothing.
Instead of saying our models are fucked because they don't work, what they say is our models still work, but we have to invent something here.
Well, they just invented a word as a slot holder, saying there's this thing. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know, what kind of energy it is. It's just it mathematically must be, but this is the amount that's missing. So for right now, because
it makes sense, you don't get to add in a new variable to make the equation make sense the way you had it before. It means your math.
It would in the math, but the problem is like within society, we're talking about it as like it's a thing. It's just like the word nothing. The word nothing, right? Try to imagine what nothing is. It's impossible. You never in your entire existence ever experienced it. But we use the word nothing as a slot holder for a void of, and we just neglect whatever the of is.
You just remind me of another example of more complicated things. Again, a long time ago, mathematics was pretty much, a simple process because we only took it up to a certain level. And so now in modern times, ever since we invented this thing called calculus, our math has gone so batshit crazy. Like by the time you learn the highest level of mathematics that they're doing now, you have no idea what you're talking about anymore, because like you're using things like an equation that includes the symbol infinity, which a lot of mathematicians treat as a number, which it's not. Infinity is not a number. It's a function that describes like a continual counting of numbers. And
I'm naked on the show. When I do the show, I'm naked. Then they look at the show and am I naked? I mean, and I mean, this is how dumb the white race is. What are we supposed to do?
Exactly.
I just had to interrupt you because I don't really know how else to say this without sounding rude, but you just don't know what you're talking about. And what you're expressing is like, it's the norm, right? It's this very common sentiment that people have in the West because we're hubristic, and we're educated.
What do you mean I don't know what I'm talking about, dude?
You're telling me that math used to be simpler.
Yeah.
Based on what?
On the fact that they didn't even know what calculus was many years ago.
What are you basing this claim on? How do you know when they decided what calculus was? What do you know about the Pythagoreans?
When they got smart enough to like put it on paper and explain it and prove it and all that shit. So anyways, I'm not saying that it's fake. I'm just saying
speculating.
I'm just saying the human brain can only process so much information in one lifetime. And so if you have to spend your entire life studying one math equation, it might be not a productive use of your time, because then who are you going to explain that to? Like no one else in the room even knows what you're talking about because you're using so many random symbols and
you don't need to know. Anyways, the belief that you're putting forward as fact is speculation based off of hubris, intellectual hubris, which isn't your fault. We're all trained with it, and based on straight line improvement, which anybody can look at your own life. You're younger than me, right? And your own life has not been a straight line improvement over time. So
God, that's the truth.
Fuck. Right?
That's definitely the truth in my case.
I'm mid-40s, dude. How old are you?
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh shit, you're older than me. I'm 37.
And by the way, my math knowledge comes from my bachelor's degree in engineering. So I have 4 years of calculus under the hood. So
did they teach you the history of mathematics?
Yes, I had to learn that during the process of learning this shit. So, anyways, what I was gonna say was like, it's so fucked up that you learn. Not only do you learn like what infinity is, you learn that there's different kinds of infinities and where they go and shit like that. And it's just so fucked up. It's like,
See what I was saying about assumptions? They made me look like an ass.
and then you say, and then you ask them in class, you say like, how will we ever use this in real life? And the teacher just looks at you like, I don't know, dude. I just have to teach you this shit.
How about this? How about this? Why don't you help us understand what you mean by defining what you mean by simplicity and difficulty?
I mean, like again, I'm not saying like we should remain cavemen and just just use stone tools or anything like that. I'm just saying like humans are always so like eager to make it sound like we're making so much progress because look at all this math we accomplished and look at all this technology we have and look how smart we are. And meanwhile, like Flo just pointed out, these retards don't even know how many genders there are and stuff like that because we're so smart.
Okay. Okay, so this is fair. So basically, it's a problem of trying to label something good or bad, right? That's where the subjectiveness comes in with it. So you could, if it was your idea that you wanted a better society, you'd want to go back to the Stone Age, right? People would have been better back then, at least by our standards, from some kind of moral standard. However, we don't want to do that because we don't want to give up all of the other benefits that are generally self-serving, longer lifespan, things
I
like that.
Modern
Right?
technology, but I think at some point it becomes more of a problem than a tool that's helping us. It's like creating more problems than it's helping.
Everything comes with pros and cons. The moment the door even cracks on anything, it's going to come with a cost. Now, what that costs, you find that out over time.
But are humans smart enough to know when we're reaching our limits?
No, the vast majority of humans throughout all of history.
And we'll do this thing.
So, do we believe that our lifespan is totally for sure longer now than it was in the past?
Yes, believe we can demonstrate it even over a 70-year period of time.
But
okay.
But is our quality of life better than it was in the past? With our longer
right. So now the problem is with quality is how are you going to measure that? I would claim longer lifespan would be, part of quality, but somebody could argue against it. It's really subjective.
I think Biden is a pretty good argument against longer lifespans.
Say that again.
He should have gone the way of nature many decades ago.
I think that makes sense to me. We've got I think we have a whole lot of humans. There are parts of the gene pool that would not be exposed if humans weren't so good at dealing with nature, honestly, and then intervening on other humans' behalf. Like,
yeah, I'm one of those assholes that doesn't really like. I'm not a big fan of empathy. I really believe the vast majority of people should die.
See,
off.
this is why I fuck with you. I also am not a huge fan of empathy. Cynthia, I knew would hear that. Me and Josh aren't big on the empathy train.
Oh,
I don't even understand that. I really don't. I don't. And I'm with Josh though on the you can't say 100% of people are self-serving. Yes, a majority, but no, not all.
Well, it's not. So here's the counter argument to it. So take like a parent, right? Like a parent will generally, as a person, as an individual, they're pretty much self-serving, right? But think about like the weird shit that they do within their lifespan just because of offspring, right? It doesn't, on face value, it doesn't seem like it would be self-serving. It's generally servitude toward, say, like the offspring, which somebody might say, well, that's a biological. It is within design to be self-serving because that's your purpose, right? Like your purpose is to keep procreating and keep your genetics going. It's a little bit subjective. I don't want to throw like 100% out out the door, because strangely enough, there are some cases of altruism that have been out there. I think 3 to 5, depending on if you believe in the cases or not, where people have done some really weird shit. It's just questionable whether it's questionable on how you want to define because self-serving, boy, that's a very broad spectrum, right? It would be like the idea of like offspring, right? Some people would say that is self-servitude. You're really just, trying to keep your genetics going. I claim it's not. Yeah, I claim it's not because, well, my kid's only 4, right? So, like, he's just a little fucking monster I have to deal with all the damn time and question my life's decisions constantly, right?
Josh, let me tell you, I spent the day with my granddaughters today, and there is nothing greater than spending the day with 3 mini me's. So I get it, because it wasn't that fun dealing with their dad, but I love dealing with them, though. So, yeah, that's self-serving.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess it's one way of doing it. Yeah, but I'm a dad, not a mom. There's got to be a difference between the mentalities. I only know that any pleasure I'm going to derive from the kid's probably going to come when he's older.
Yeah, no,
like when he can drive, when he can hunt.
It's going to come to the next generation. Don't look for it here. Buddy.
No. The next generation, his kids. That's going to be. That's going to be total revenge.
Yeah,
that's going to be self-serving on me because I'm going to utilize revenge. I'm going to punish my kid for everything he did to me using his kid.
Yes.
I'm just trying to create a better world for my kid because it kind of sucks that we're forcing them into this current situation.
I'm scared of the terminology when somebody says better world. I don't know what that means half the time.
I mean, like, then the one we're currently in, the world we're in right now is just going to shit real fast. So it sucks to bring children into
the world or the people in it.
Culture, society, whatever you want to call it, dude.
Hey, Josh, if you have a kid and that's the way you talk about kids, I really feel sorry for your kid.
No. Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Oh, you mean the truth? Like all parents talking about, oh, my kid is this, special.
I get it. You're probably one of those guys that just loves every moment with your child, and I love those people. I love them. My sisters are them.
Well, no, I don't. There's bad times. I do. There's plenty of times where I'm like, come on, motherfucker, come on, like shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My son on my picture, he can be a cocksucker.
Yeah. But sometimes like that, there's just like people used to think I was crazy. I'd be like, I don't understand why y'all all like being a parent so much. And like, it's not that great. I mean, I'm saying that in the sense like it was a lot of responsibility. Huh?
Fucking kids are crazy. Kids are fucking crazy. I've got grandkids, so I know kids are fucking crazy.
But there's the other end. I'm telling you, you make it out, and that is that's the greatness of it. That's the greatness of it.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, and then and your kids are adults, and you have entirely different conversations than you had when they were younger. Even when they're teenagers, it's just totally different. Like the conversations I have with my daughter are not the same conversations that I have with my son. He's a teenager. He's still in high school. There's just shit that we're not talking about. Me and my daughter, we talk about everything. It does not matter. Sometimes it's like, we'll be halfway through a conversation. I'm like, this is so weird. Carry on.
And you will see how good of a parent you are when you see your adult children. Like, that's a good feeling. When you see that your seed has finally, not matured all the way, but it's finally grown. That's a beautiful feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many aspects to talk about that, like about parenting too. Like, what's the best way to parent? And like, I'm kind of going this unparenting way. Like, so my son's only 5, my daughter's 7. And my wife is the kind of mainstream and she wants to keep them in school, but like, I totally want to go like unschool like totally unschool, like just like fucking take them out of school and like fucking let them do whatever, like not whatever they want, but like kind of just unschool, like no boundaries, like I don't
Or
know.
maybe homeschooling. I mean,
Montessori, like let them develop, like look into different arts or something that they're interested in, and then kind of develop them from there. Is that kind
Exactly,
of what you're
but even look into unschooling. Like it's even crazier. Like some of these kids that come out of the unschooling stuff is like crazy, because like all you do is support what they want to do. I don't know. It's very interesting, but like I don't know the answer. But
have you thought about the legal aspects of that?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's another fact that is very big too, man. Because also like that's very unpopular amongst like most of the people you talk to and like your family members, and they all
no. I meant the legal aspects of it. You know, legally your child. Well, I guess in the United States, unless you live somewhere else, in the United States, they have to attend some type of curriculum. It's usually state defined. That's the minimum.
Okay, but so do you agree with that?
It doesn't matter whether I agree with it or not.
Exactly,
Like these are the things I'm subjected to. Like, what is agreeing at?
Exactly. I don't know what the answer is, but like I kind of would like to like, yeah, I don't know, just see what the outcome. Like, I know I've watched enough shows.
I think homeschooling would be a better option. As long as you can get them to pass a GED, you can teach them however you want and whatever you want. So,
well, no. In most cases, like the kids will pass the GED times 100.
Oh, definitely. That's what I'm saying. Like homeschooling's like way better than public schooling anyway. So, but you can also teach them like useful skills while they're doing their homework or whatever. And so it's
no, exactly. That's the whole unschooling thing. Yeah, it's like teaching them real skills, like everything we didn't learn, like how to deal with money, how to start a business, how to like talk to people, how to socialize.
I gotta say, I'm a bit shocked at half of this shit. That's what electives were. Like we had a home ec taught you pretty much how not to burn your house down while cooking something.
Yeah.
Wood shop. We had carpentry, mechanics. Like we had all kinds of weird shit in school. What the hell are you guys doing for your electives? Do you not remember them? Or did you not have them?
I think now they're like gender studies and stuff like that. I think is their option.
Also,
in grade school?
Did they ever teach you anything important? Okay, like so when you're cooking, do they teach you how to like put love into your cooking and like give put passion into it and make it actually taste good? No,
you can't use that word to a bunch of guys.
Follow the square cookie cutter fucking recipe and follow it exactly, and that's the only way to go. No, there's like a million ways to do every single thing. There's a million different outcomes, but also if you put fucking your heart and soul into something, and you put love into it, it's going to taste good. And that's something like the thing that they don't teach you is like spirituality or like that there is like something about putting your heart and soul in. Like,
okay. Oh, too many damn words. Too many words. One, what the fuck do you mean by